Fit, formidable, and fantastic.
This is Corey McCarthy, and welcome to a new episode of Fit, Formidable, and Fantastic. That's right. Go F yourself, and happy Friday. Now, in this episode, I thought I'd do a video covering tips for avoiding or beating insomnia or issues with sleep, as I've seen a good number of people asking about this lately on social media. Now, sleep is very important, as I'm sure you all are aware, not just for optimal health, but also for your athletic efforts. For athletes, I'd even say it's the most crucial element in the equation of training, food, and sleep. And why is that, you might ask? Well, your diet and exercise can both be on point, but if your sleep is fucked, you will not recover. And worse, you could end up injuring yourself, or at the very least, your results may suffer and not be optimized. Now, while I personally don't suffer from constant insomnia, there are occasions where I have actually been reduced to subsisting on 3 to 4 hours of sleep, despite trying for 8 to 10. And so I can certainly sympathize with those of you who are having longer-term issues with insomnia or more repeat instances than I am. Now, I chalk my episodes up personally to temporary stress in my life, or something of that ilk, especially when my brain just won't shut the fuck off while I'm trying to lay there in bed and fall asleep. And it's frustrating to say the least. A case in point would be is last Monday and Tuesday, not this week, but last week, I actually had a couple nights of insomnia. In fact, that recent 2-day bout with sleeplessness actually is one of the things that inspired me to want to end up actually doing this topic. It's sort of added to the equation, you could say. So one thing to note, I tend to lift in the evenings due to my schedule, so it's safe for me to assume that after years on this schedule, that it isn't my evening lifting that's responsible for the handful of occasions that I've experienced this problem. For me personally, that is. I'm not saying that might not be the case for you. Now on to my advice and what has personally helped me. And do note, none of this should replace professional medical consultation or treatment, especially for those of you with a serious sleep deprivation problem, which could also be a sign of a deeper and serious underlying medical condition. Rather, these are just merely avenues that you could explore if you're new or infrequent sufferer, for instance, before jumping into medical treatment. And also, with regards to supplement advice, always check with your doctor first to avoid any interactions with any drugs that you may be using. So, with that all being said, here we go. 1. Try to get onto a proper schedule, thus allowing your body to regulate itself. 2. I would suggest that you shut off all blue light emitting electronics like mobile phones, TVs, laptops, etc. up to 2 hours before bedtime. Blue light, according to the research referenced in a Harvard article that I've linked in the video description, has been shown to suppress the secretion of melatonin, which is a hormone that influences circadian rhythms. In other words, blue light can disrupt your sleep cycle. 3. Relax with reading or light music, perhaps. Reading, in fact, is actually recommended by the National Sleep Foundation as a calming activity that may help you wind down. If you're a musician like myself, you could wind down with your instrument of choice, for instance. I tend to grab an acoustic guitar, not one of my electrics. This I personally find really relaxes and distresses me after a long day. 4. Cool down your room. Research from the Center for Chronobiology in Switzerland has demonstrated that a cool environment can reduce your core temperature and help you ease into a sleep mode. I actually did a video on the benefits of sleeping in a cool environment previously, specifically for fat loss, which I will also link in the description. Personally, I enjoy a room at 66 degrees Fahrenheit or cooler at night, which is just shy of 19 degrees Celsius or lower for my friends that are using that unit of measurement. Now, moving forward. 5. Sleep in a dark room. According to the National Sleep Foundation, exposure to artificial light before bed can actually suppress melatonin. They recommend blocking out all artificial light sources, even by covering your windows, to make your room completely dark while you sleep. Furthermore, they have even suggested that a night light be used in the bathroom at night when you have to get up to use the restroom, for instance, instead of switching on an overhead light. 6, perhaps give some or all of these supplements a go. GABA, also known as gamma aminobutyric acid. According to research published in 2006 in the Journal of Biofactors, GABA induces relaxation and reduces anxiety. Personally, I use 3 to 5 grams at about 30 to 45 minutes pre-bed. Start with a lower dose to assess your tolerance, as it can be slightly uncomfortable as the supplement takes effect. You might experience things like shallow breathing, some lightheadedness, paresthesia, which is also known as tingling sensations, to name a few. The level at which you will experience these onset effects, I have found, has a lot to do with your experience with GABA usage, as new users tend to notice the effects more, as well as the dosage you're taking. The effect also tends to subside within about 5 minutes or so of onset, I've personally noticed. You might also want to try zinc, magnesium, and melatonin supplements. All 3 of these have been shown to improve the quality of sleep and quality of life in sufferers of insomnia. For example, in a double-blind, placebo-controlled study published in 2011 in the Journal of American Geriatric Society, in keeping with the research, that's just an example right there that was published in that journal. So in keeping with the research, try 225 milligrams of magnesium, 11.25 milligrams of zinc, and 5 milligrams of melatonin at approximately 30 to 45 minutes pre-bed. Next, L-theanine. In a randomized double-blind placebo-controlled trial from 2011 that was published in the Journal of Alternative Medicine Review, L-theanine supplementation at a dose of 400 milligrams a day was effective in improving some aspects of sleep quality in boys diagnosed with ADHD, which is a disorder that is associated with sleep issues. Other research demonstrates that L-theanine increases relaxation, usually without sedation. Another one would be valerian, which is actually kind of a popular one. A lot of people who know a bit about herbs actually will usually say, have you given valerian a go if you're having trouble sleeping? While the precise mechanisms are yet to be fully understood with valerian, scientists believe that valerian works by increasing the amount of gamma aminobutyric acid in the brain. GABA, as you might recall, is another supplement that I had recommended previously. In fact, if you consider that popularly prescribed sleep drugs such as Xanax and Valium also work by increasing the amount of GABA in the brain, you can see why valerian may be worth your consideration. Now that said, an herb will have considerably weaker effect than a chemical drug. Just bear that in mind. One very well-controlled study found that by 28 days of dosage using valerian, sleep was greatly improved for those taking it. Other research suggests that valerian reduces the amount of time it takes to fall asleep, and it improves the quality of sleep. One word of personal warning. I've used valerian root before in the form of a tincture, and while I did sleep quite well each time that I used it, in fact, and I even had very vivid dreams while I was sleeping, but those were also very dark, surreal, and quite disturbing dreams at that. To some degree they were nonsensical, and they were very much foreboding. So I'm just giving that word of warning out there that I do believe that valerian does cause you to have, or be prone to nightmares, is probably a way to put it. And I had dosed the bottle recommendation of 28 drops, which comes to 1,000 milligrams of valerian root extract. 5-HTP, or 5-hydroxytryptophan, is another one. In one study, participants who dosed 200 to 400 milligrams of 5-HTP at night fell asleep faster and slept more deeply compared to those who were taking a placebo. One note, though, however, it may take 6 to 12 weeks of consistent use of 5-HTP to reach a full level of effectivity. There's one more thing I want to note, too. Recently, it had been brought to my attention there was a supplement being recommended for sleep as being very potent by a company known as Blackstone Labs. The supplement is known as anesthetized this one right here. I contacted Blackstone Labs, and a Christopher Heron got back to me. I had asked him if his products were vegan, specifically if Anesthetized was vegan, because I'm a vegan. I didn't want anything derived from dairy, eggs, or even meat or what have you. And he told me that all of their powdered products, not their capped products, but powdered products, are in fact vegan. So another one you might want to try is Anesthetized. Now, what I do want to say about this, and something I'm not too fond of, is it has artificial and natural flavors in it. I do try not to consume a lot of things with like those kinds of ingredients. Call me paranoid. But not that I'm saying that natural necessarily is better. I'm just you know, call me paranoid, whatever. But that's my only real complaint. And also, I don't want to get used to this stuff, so I reserve this for when I'm really having problems. But when I was having the problem with insomnia, I dosed this, actually, because I was getting kind of desperate. I had a couple days of no sleep, and I was like, fuck, I need to sleep. So this thing recommended you take 1 scoop as a serving. I ended up taking half a scoop, and it says to take it 30 minutes prior to bed with water. I did half a scoop, and I swear, I felt this shit within 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I was feeling loopy, and like the room was, it was just the weirdest thing. I was feeling like I felt drugged within about 5 minutes at half a dosage. So, looking at the ingredient list, it really just contains, looks like different kinds of like GABA, like 4-amino-butonic acid. I'm guessing, I don't even know what some of this is. 4-amino-3-phenyl-butyric acid. 4-pyridine-3-carbonyl amino acid, butonic acid. L-taurine, mucinoprurians at 15% L-dopa. Valerian root, which we had discussed earlier, and a form of tyrosine. So that's what that particular supplement contains. I don't know. That shit is potent. It hit me fast. Within about 5 minutes, it hit me fast, and I finally had a really good night's sleep, which I did very much need at that point in time. So I recommend that as well, and it is vegan for my vegan viewers. Now, I'm not saying that all these suggestions I've given in this video are the definitive list of tricks, but these have worked for me and are also supported by experts and research. And I hope that some of these tips, or all of these tips, will help you in your quest for a better night's sleep, or even in fighting an existing sleep problem. That said, as I had suggested earlier, if your situation is dire, I do strongly recommend that you see a professional about it. Don't forgo treatment or consultation for any of these tricks. You can use them supplementally. And of course, run them by your doctor as well. Anyway, that's all I have to say in this video. If you guys have anything you want to add or any questions you want to ask, do drop it below in the comments. Otherwise, I'll see you guys on Monday for a regularly scheduled episode. Until then, stay fit, stay formidable, and stay fantastic. I'll see you around.